again, I hope that you managed to do this. So let me show you how I did it. So let's start by getting this code from the other challenge. So coding challenge number 1, because of course we don't have to repeat the same code. So here we have the mass and the height of both John and Mark, and we already have their BMIs calculated. We also have this condition here basically already. So this operation here already tells us whether Mark has a higher BMI or not, right? So let's get rid of this. And so let's write our if-else statement. So if BMI Mark is greater than BMI John, and here we could have just used this variable, right? So we could have written Mark higher BMI right here. But as I said in the previous lecture, it's actually more common to write the condition directly in here. So let's get rid of this variable here. And then let's come here and get this string that we want to then log to the console. So console.log. And so this makes sense, right? So if BMI Mark is greater than BMI John, then we log to the console, Mark's BMI is higher than John's. And if not, then we use the else statement. So let's copy this one here. So in this case, John's BMI is higher than Mark's. And actually, let's log both of them to the console here first, just so we see if our if-else statement is working as expected. So BMI Mark and BMI John. And as you see here, the VS Code auto-completion is pretty smart. Give it a save. Let's try that. And we see John's BMI is higher than Mark's. So this one is Mark's, this one is John's, and indeed, John's BMI is higher. And so basically, this condition here turned out to be false, and the else block was executed. So let's try the same now with this first set of data here. And I'm commenting them out again using command/ or control/ on Windows. So I need to comment out this one. Okay, give it a save. And now we should see the opposite. And indeed, now Mark's BMI is higher than John's. So that is part 1, right? And now part 2 is to actually write a template string, or this should be called a template literal. We just fixed that. So we should use a template literal to include the actual BMI values. So like this here between parentheses. So let's do that. And so we're going to transform this to backticks. So that's the first thing. And then let's see the template again. Okay, so after the BMI, we include the parentheses. And then in the parentheses is where we want the actual value. And so this is where we put essentially the placeholder. So here we will put BMI Mark. And here BMI John. Right, and now let's just copy this to make it a bit faster. Mark, and then here John. Okay, let's see. And yeah, that works just fine. Cool. So with this, we solved the challenge. And again, if you did it in a slightly different way, don't worry at all. That's completely normal, and it's actually a good thing. It means that you're basically finding your own style of coding, which is really a good thing. So don't worry about that. What matters is that you actually used an if-else statement. That was, of course, mandatory. Otherwise, you couldn't have make this work at all. All right, so this was a lot of fun because we actually made our code do something now. I hope you can really feel that as well.